Good morning from the Boundary Waters. I am on a quick day trip today, and before I started fishing and grouse hunting, yes, a cast and blast trip, first of the fall, I wanted to talk to you about my sonar choice for Boundary Waters fishing. So I've gotten a lot of questions through my YouTube channel, people asking me what sonar and canoe mount slash transducer setup I use, so I wanted to talk about that today. So you guys have all the information and know what I feel is the best system for Boundary Waters travel. So here we go. So for the last 5 years or so, I've been using a Humminbird Helix 5 system, and I recently upgraded to a Humminbird Helix 5 system. This one's got a lot more features than my old 2016 version. This is the 2021 version that came out last year. So there are multiple reasons why I decided to stick with Humminbird in the Helix 5 series. Number one is the battery life. I like the 5-inch screen. It's big enough to do split screen and display two different options side by side, whether that's sonar next to GPS mapping, sonar next to auto chart, or sonar next to down imaging. The screen is big enough and clear enough, especially with these new models, that you can easily differentiate both. You can control the screen brightness, turn it down until it's just barely visible if you really want to extend the battery life. So that's number one, is the screen size not only makes it small, compact, and portable, but it also helps out with battery life. I recently upgraded to a Dakota Lithium 12 volt 10 amp hour. So those cheapo $25 lead acid batteries that you get basically at any sporting goods store are either 7 or 8 amp hour. And I was finding that I was really only getting an entire day, maybe a day and a half, 2 at the most, out of those batteries. But with this 10 amp hour battery, what I was able to do was cut the weight in half and increase from 7 amp hour to 10 amp hour. So almost 50% increase in battery life. So when I'm out on a trip and I'm really watching the battery life, I'm not, leaving the sonar on when I'm not using it. And as long as I turn the screen brightness down as far as I can, where I'm still able to read it in the sun, I'm able to get 2.5 to 3 full days. And when I say full days, I mean 10 to 13 hour days in the boat fishing, sonar on, nonstop, before this thing runs out of life. So having the ability to cut the weight in half and increase the overall battery life by 30 to 40% was huge and well worth the $99 investment over the $25 lead acid battery. So that's a huge part of the system in keeping that weight down. Number two, I really like the feature set you get with these Humminbird systems at the price point. This one retails at about $330, doesn't come with the ICE transducer. So you have to upgrade that for about $100 if you want to use it in the winter. But you get a lot of features in this teeny tiny little system. So number one is sonar. Obviously you need sonar to locate fish, to check depths, that kind of thing. Most of these come standard with sonar. Number two is down imaging, which I'm really excited to use more, especially for lake trout and walleye fishing. Rather than just seeing humps on the sonar, you can actually differentiate what those humps are, whether it's a rock pile, whether it's a giant boulder, whether it's a down tree, whatever. The down imaging is really going to help me differentiate structure and find those fish that are close to hugging that structure rather than one blob on the bottom. Another feature I really like about these is GPS plotting. Obviously GPS is important for marking spots, especially for those fish species that like to hug structure. So when you're looking at walleye, lake trout, to a lesser extent bass and pike, you're looking for those areas where there are large drop-offs, flats, reefs, steep inclines or declines. This system really allows you to find those and mark them with your GPS, so you can really map out a lake. On top of that, the newest feature that I'm more excited about even than down imaging is the auto chart feature for this system. For those of you not familiar with Humminbird's auto chart feature, it allows you to build your own charts by paddling or motorboating over those areas and literally mapping with the sonar what the bottom of the lake looks like. This comes preloaded with a LakeMaster chip or LakeMaster charts, I believe. but those are not accurate unless you're on a lake that gets visited regularly, which these boundary water lakes don't. Generally, you need a motorboat to effectively map these lakes because it's just a vast volume of water and area to cover. So a lot of the boundary waters lakes haven't been updated and are not super accurate. The shorelines I've found are not even accurate, not in the correct spots. So with this system, I'm literally able to paddle over spots and map down to 1 foot intervals exactly what the bottom of the lake looks like. That combined with down imaging, and you can pretty much guess exactly what the structure on the bottom of the lake looks like, which is really fascinating and obviously a wonderful tool when you're fishing the boundary waters in these lakes that are new to most of us. That Humminbird system I'm able to temporarily mount to the boat using a series of different ram components. This one is the claw that grabs the gunnel, the main adapter piece that grabs the sonar, and then of course the transducer arm that goes in the water, and I'll show you how to set this up shortly. So last but not least, the system that I finally landed on after many iterations is a series of 5 ram components. The reason why these ram mounts are so fantastic is they're universally adapted to basically grab onto anything that's within a, I think, 1.5 or 2 inch, in width. So I don't know how big exactly this tough claw gets. But the primary piece to this entire system, number one, is the ram tough claw. I have the tough claw in the B size, and all of my ram mounts are B size compatible, which is very important when you build your system. You need them all to be B compatible or A compatible or C compatible. That refers to the actual ball size here. So all of these ball sockets in this system, which are what make it so wonderful, are B size, which I believe is a 1 inch diameter ball, maybe 3/4 inch. I'll have to figure that out for sure. Anyway, the tough claw itself is the strength of the system that grabs either the gunnel or the thwart of the boat. It allows me to mount this pretty much wherever I want. Left side, right side. I've even mounted it to the handle in front of tandem canoes when I've been paddling from the bow seat. So the second piece in the system is the double socket arm. This is the black piece on top of the tough claw, which has the add-a-ball attachment running out the side. So this is what allows the screen to be mounted to the tough claw and the transducer arm also to be mounted to that tough claw. Rather than having a tough claw for the screen and a tough claw for the transducer, this allows me just one with that adapter piece. This also, if you loosen, is very flexible, so you can control the location of the screen, what way it's facing, to get that optimal readout when you're sitting in a canoe, kayak, or motorboat. The fourth piece here is the actual screen adapter, and this is just what holds whatever brand screen you have to make it compatible across the market. So if you're going for a different system, you know, a Garmin Striker or a Lowrance or any other system, make sure you have the relevant adapter piece. But this little plate on the bottom with, again, the size B ball is what allows the ram system to grab the Humminbird screen mount here, so to make the two systems compatible with each other. So the fifth and perhaps most important piece to this whole puzzle is the transducer arm mount. There's a socket joint here that grabs that add-a-ball attachment on the double socket arm. There is a flexible aluminum rod which allows you to get the transducer away from the boat to give you an accurate reading no matter what the freeboard is of your boat, whether it's a motorboat, a kayak, or a canoe. That allows it to hold the transducer perfectly parallel to the bottom of the lake. This part and the whole security of the system is especially key. The first few systems I built, I found they held the transducer in the water nicely, but the second I started paddling, that transducer would fall backwards and not give me an accurate reading because it was reading out behind the boat rather than directly under. So the security of this system, the fact that you can tighten or adjust each component individually, is really what makes this a secure system. Even when I'm cruising at 3 to 4 miles per hour, it's not going to move on you. It's going to keep an accurate reading. All right, here we go. Quick and easy setup. Piece one. tough claw. Straight to the gunnel, or the thwart. Tighten. Double socket arm with the add-a-ball. Ball facing out. Screen. Transducer arm. And there we go. Last but not least, take the battery, put it in the sea line bag. Roll it up, clamp it to the thwart. Now if I flip the boat, this whole system is attached and it won't go anywhere. Oh, buddy. Are you nervous? You want to go fishing and hunting? Are you nervous? Kiss. Come on, give me a kiss. You're being patient. Yeah, come on, go away. Come on, go away. This is my shot. Go away. Get out of here! Go sniff something or pee on stuff.